Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. In the bottom left, we have none other than Liquid Clem. We're seeing a lot of him lately because he's playing a lot of good Starcraft 2. Now, his opponent, the Protoss player making this a PvT or a TvP, is SKillous, playing for Team Cascade, someone I haven't cast in what must be a while, if I've ever cast SKillous. SKillous, for those of you unaware, is a very good Russian Protoss player. He's a younger player who's been on the up and up. He hasn't posted like crazy results lately, but he is very talented. I think he can probably take a map or a match off anyone. And so that's why I'm excited to see what he's going to bring in a PvT against Clem. I think SKillous can be a little bit more unorthodox too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we'll just take a look and see what the build's turning out to be. So far, just a normal gateway expand, most likely. The question does become after whether it'll be a gateway into a cyber core or a gateway into a nexus. Really, it's just a little bit trivial what the Protoss player will go for. Looks like it will be that gateway into Nexus, wanting to have those units out quickly. And then, yeah, the game's just going to continue on from here. The map is Eternal Empire. I didn't mention that right away. I think it is a map that is pretty good for Terran for the most part in TvP. That's been the feedback consensus I have got from Protoss players. And then we see Probe Scout running away for SKillous, or should be running away soon, seeing as how that Reaper is on the way. Pro gamers very, very good when it comes to having the timings. They have them ingrained in their minds so that they can sense when something's off, when they need to do a certain action. For example, this probe heading out before that Reaper is going to be able to chase it down and kill it. Now, a scouting SCV runs in for Clem, which is interesting. It's going to be on its way out, though, as this Adept is going to be popping out. Both these players scouting each other out. And due to SKillous having that quicker cyber core, the Adept is out in perfect time to deal with this Reaper. Adept going to throw that Frisbee of Death at the Reaper. Clem actually just drives right on through. Wow! This Reaper showing how slick it is, just going right in between the probes too. I feel like it would have been vulnerable to a probe surround, but then SKillous with the sick plays uses the pylon to block the Reaper in there. Clem spotted the Twilight Council. Losing his Reaper this early on means he won't be able to follow up Scout though. And yeah, really great play from SKillous. I feel like Clem was playing with fire a little bit, running his Reaper in like that, just driving between these probes. I feel like a probe pull could have maybe killed it off quicker too. But then, of course, Clem's Reapers can be very slick. Before this game gets going too much, though, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to slap that like button on this channel. I think the goal we've been sticking with is pretty good. So 100 likes on this video, if we can do that, that would be awesome. And I'll promise you I will cast more Clem and SKillous in the future. Now, we have got the Adept bullying Clem a little bit, losing the Reaper. Clem has to rely on the Marines in order to zone the Reaper out. Or in order to zone the Adept out, pardon me. And then the Robo is on the way for SKillous. Third base will be going up soon. Very quick thirds are quite common for Protoss in the PvT matchup, as they tend to have pretty good early control. Harassment isn't as much of it used to be, like I'd say, in the matchup, so going for a quick third, really, there isn't too much to worry about. And if you're a Protoss player and can get away with it, you're just sitting pretty. This build for SKillous, I said he can be a little bit unorthodox, is completely orthodox. The 2-gate into third base with the Blink Stalkers, so SKillous playing a very straight-up TvP against such a monster Terran. It must show that he's quite confident in this matchup. We have got an Observer on the way for SKillous next, going to be rallying that out in a position to see an incoming drop. Clem's Medivac is going to fly by the one pylon, but then it'll fly over this next one. So SKillous should know that this Widowmine drop is going to be coming towards his main base. I believe he should have seen that. Stalkers aren't moving though, and the Widowmine drop, actually turns around. So Clem, maybe worried that it had been seen. SKillous gets a forge up behind this. He has yet to fire up charge or anything else that's going to give him longevity in the mid to the late game. So just a forge for now is interesting. We'll see what other tech he's going to be going for next as his third base completes. Because the Protoss player can't just stay on purely Blink Stalkers. The Blink Stalkers are great for defending drops, but as far as giving you a strong army later on, you gotta have something else. So far, charge does get fired up for SKillous as Clem is pressuring with these drops. SKillous, though, he's got this drop on lock. He's got this drop on lock, it would seem, enough units to defend every base. The concern for SKillous does arise, though, when something else is going on the map and his attention is drawn away. That's where it becomes a little bit worrisome for the Protoss player, because all it takes is a second for a drop to sneak in. And behind this, we have got Clem, who's going for a very strong two-base play. SKillous sees all these Marines, so he knows it's going to be a two-base due to this Observer. But you still got to be careful if you are SKillous. Stalkers blink underneath, though Medivac does get picked off. Two probes get sectioned off. One Stalker eats it. Looks like this drop will be shut down. The Medivac died as well, so really good defense so far from SKillous, taking out one of those Medivacs. Now he's just got one more to worry about. And then the push from Clem that's moving across the map. A scan goes down from Clem to kill the Observer. Nice to do that. Lets you know, because having an Observer there lets the Protoss player know whether the Terran's going to keep pushing, going to back off, or it's just rallying units. SKillous right now has got to be a little bit concerned about this push, so he's trying to get ahead of it with his Blink Stalkers, pick off any unit that he can. Getting 2 Marines is a nice start. A Widowmine drop kills off 4 probes, but that's nothing too major. And now that the drops have been taken care of, SKillous just needs to focus on this defense. We see a big old Zealot warp in coming in from the Protoss player, and we see +1 is on the way. And Clem has failed to do any damage just yet, so he's gonna go for his third base on location to try and catch up a little bit. Widowmine gets its shot baited out. SKillous is playing a pretty solid PvT so far, and has himself a good position in this match, I feel. We do see these Stalkers moving into the main base, though. These guys are really out of position. Seeing as how Clem hasn't backed off too far with his bio, as we see, yeah, there's that bio. SKillous is going to have to pull back, get his Stalkers back down here, I feel. I don't know if SKillous can defend this without his Stalkers in position. Those Stalkers are now coming. They're going to blink down the cliff, but Clem's going to be able to take a fight before these Stalkers are adding in their damage, because while Stalkers aren't the best versus bio, their ability to get damage done prevents the Terran just from kiting endlessly. We're seeing Clem try and commit in. Good job from SKillous, though, having enough to defend there. It was looking a little bit dicey as the Immortals were in range of the bio, but no, there's enough Protoss on the ground to repel the Terran player. Looks like SKillous wants to shut this down once and for all. There's a chance he may blink after this. He's losing charge lots as he kites after Clem's force. A Marauder gets focused down by the Stalkers blinking forward. Clem, though, is never doing just one thing. We see a drop, now going to head towards the natural base of the Protoss player. So while SKillous is forcing Clem back, he's getting good trades. But is he going to take damage at his natural base? Zealots have been warped in, and a recall has been used to repel this drop. And SKillous did end up repelling his opponent, but Clem is quite scary of a Terran. Doesn't matter, it seems, if Clem doesn't get too much done with his push, or if he gets repelled, because he's got his 5 racks done. He's got his third base up and mining. He's got a very good economy. And then he's making Liberators. He's making more bio. He's just a macro machine. And SKillous had to work really hard to defend there. So I'm quite liking Clem's position. I don't think SKillous is in big trouble. I'm just a little bit worried because Clem has some of the best TvP in the world, I'd say, at the minute. And so I'm a little bit concerned that if this game just plays out like all the other TvPs, SKillous will not be able to withstand the Clem storm. We do see SKillous. He is going to be getting up an extra forge, keep his upgrades rolling. Clem has an extra eBay going, but is yet to start his +2 attack. There, speak of the devil. Psystorm and Ghosts on the way, so these players both thinking ahead as far as getting more tech. SKillous has got a lot of High Templar out, which I do enjoy seeing. There's always a chance that a Storm can get off, even if the Terran player lands a couple of EMPs. Widowmines, though, getting some huge connections for Clem, killing 11 workers, and there's that random drop that can just put the Protoss player into a world of trouble. Losing 11 probes is no small amount. Looks like the Prism is going to try and get some counter damage done for SKillous, and it's actually going to be killing off a good number of SCVs with a big old Zealot Warp, and SKillous is forcing Clem back. We see these Zealots will get cleaned up, but 14 SCVs did just die. Widow Mines are going to reposition to push the Prism away, but wow, Clem really took a lot of damage there. The worker count gets put back to a much better position for SKillous, having the lead. He's got his 4th base up, and that drop did a lot of damage to Clem, so well done by SKillous. Also defending while being aggressive. 2-2 is on the way for Clem, 2-2 is on the way for SKillous, so both players getting out their upgrades. The 4th base is up and mining for SKillous. He shuts down a Widow Mine drop. These Stalkers should be able to catch that Medivac if they blink. Yes, they do get it. Nicely done. So far, SKillous has been playing a pretty solid PvT. Of course, Clem's got a little bit of damage here and there, but now he's really thinking of getting counter damage done to Clem, which is very important because Clem is such a strong macro Terran, so you really got to disrupt him a bit. Zealots baiting out Widow Mine shots to deal friendly fire, but then more warping's going to come from SKillous. He says, yeah, I'll just keep warping in until you shut down my Prism. The Prism then backs away. SKillous has got a good amount of AoE, so it's tough for Clem just to push in. We see Clem is going to go up this ramp. SKillous has got High Templar in a Prism. Clem is on a ramp. One Storm pushes him away, though. The Warp Prism is still there threatening as well at the natural base of Clem. This is not a comfortable position for the Terran. And so Clem, he's going to go for a drop at the natural, while also moving out with his army. He's got to be really careful because this is a scary Protoss force compared to this little bio ball. The rest of the army for Clem is going to unload. They're not going to head towards the natural right away. There we go. Now they're going. Stalkers and a High Templar are there, but this is quite the bio drop. There's a Storm, but the bio isn't in great enough numbers for it to be super effective. Meanwhile, SKillous, though, is looking to push this stimmed bio of Clem away. 11 probes, 13 probes have gone down, so a nice drop from Clem. Looks like he will save that Ghost. Good job there. These players are trading blow for blow. But Clem, the macro machine, is up to 67 SCVs. He's getting up his own 4th base, whereas he's keeping the Protoss player only on 56 workers. Not a comfortable spot for the Protoss. And as we approach the maxed out situation, this is where it becomes really scary for the Protoss, I think, because Clem is a master of controlling bio. He's a master of playing in the late game, whereas in the past, a lot of Terrans would just fold in the late game to Protoss. SKillous is going to have a tough time just cracking Clem. I feel there's EMP, there's a healthy amount of bio. The upgrades are even in the lead for a second. Now they're tied up, but yeah, I think it will be very tough indeed for SKillous to push into Clem. He's going to try, though. He's really far out here to the Terran's base. There's Widow Mines, there's a potential bio flank that could happen. One Storm gets dropped on the Terran bio force, but there'll need to be many more if this Terran army is going to be softened up enough. A big Zealot Warpin is what SKillous is going to go for. Really wanting to force the issue right now. He's also got that Prism with the Storm. But oh, look at that. Double Liberator harassment at the natural, or at the 4th base of SKillous. A couple of Stalkers get warped in to help deal with this. There was a High Templar to deal with drops, to deal with bio. But it's not good at dealing with Liberators. We see SKillous taking a fight, but Clem is fighting at that rock of his planetary, doing a really good job this game. We even see these Liberators still putting pressure on SKillous, who's only on 54 workers. Even though he's been pretty constantly making probes, Clem is keeping his opponent down. 3-3 is going for both players, so neither player are going to have an upgrade lead. We see double Colossus production is on the way for SKillous. I really do enjoy this. Even if you're not going for mass Colossus, having 1 or 2 is absolutely huge, I think, for a Protoss player. It just adds so much passive AoE into your army. These Liberators will get cleaned up, by the way. And SKillous will, or should have, a Colossus or 2 joining into his force. I think the Colossus is really going to help him out, because it lets you take kind of passive trades against the Terran. We see Clem has made a few Vikings, but that's not going to help out. Prism is going to get shot by those Vikings, though, so Clem maybe was able to pick that off. SKillous has to throw out some Storms. This Bio Ball of Clem is looking very, very grouped up though, so I'm going to be a little bit concerned because there's going to be nothing that will prevent the damage from these Colossus getting out. There's going to be nothing that'll prevent Psystorm. Well, I mean, the Ghost can prevent Psystorms, but you're bound to take some damage when you're fighting with this much bio in one army, so Clem's going to try and split it up a little bit. I'd even like to see a Disruptor or two from SKillous at this point, just because Clem has so much raw bio. This is where things really become scary, though, for the Protoss, I feel. SKillous just having a tough time keeping up 5 bases, it seems. He's on edge this game. And Clem's just throwing up CCs almost la-di-da, just saying, yeah, build command centers, go, go, go. He's not afraid to go into the late game at all, which makes this player so terrifying. A Psystorm goes down, but the Prism gets taken care of, so a good snipe for Clem. A couple of Templar died in there. There's still 1 or 2 Psystorms, but then we take a look. All of a sudden, in comes Clem. He's going to be hitting the 5th base of SKillous. The Nexus was EMP'd, so there's not even a recall that can be used. Clem's going to get this base. Once again, SKillous is trying to push into the planetary, but the Terran with the defensive planetary is so tough to crack. We do see SKillous, though, right-click on it. Clem wasn't quite paying attention to repair that base. It will cost him. However, this is just tit for tat at this point, as we do see there is a base gone down for SKillous as well, and Clem has spare CCs. I think this is looking to be a better position for Clem. SKillous, though, does have quite a scary army. 4 Colossus is no joke when you're taking on an army without Vikings, and Clem making a huge mistake, throwing away multiple Marauders there as he accidentally rallied them. We do see Clem is going to be looking for a big surround on his opponent. There's no Psystorm, no Force Fields. These Colossus are going to have to run Stalkers. They're not that good of a buffer for the Protoss force. SKillous is trying to get these Colossus out. It looks like 1 or 2 of them stays alive. There's just 1 that's remained. Clem lost a lot of SCVs in that pull, though. However, he does have the power of mules to carry him forward in this game. The Protoss player lost his whole army. Clem lost a lot of his army and SCVs, but I mean, there's all these bases. Clem can move one of these over, turn another into orbitals, drop mules, and SKillous is just getting up his 5th base once more. So his economy isn't looking that hot either, and Clem is just such a monster Terran, I want to say. SKillous is playing a great PvT, but it seems that it's tough for the Protoss to get ahead against Clem. I do like the choice for a Disruptor from SKillous. When behind, go for Disruptors. Not DTs, as Clem has got lots of scans and EMP, but Disruptors will do the trick, that's for sure. Shields is on the way for SKillous. I do like this to help benefit the Archons, just all of his units in general. A few Disruptors are on the way. I am a little bit concerned for SKillous, though, because Clem is just going to start building up a massive Liberator fleet. And mass Liberators can be really tough to take care of in a low eco situation. So we see SKillous is going to throw up his Stargate. He sees the Liberators. He does have an Observer over this Terran army, which I want to say is really notable. Having the peace of mind of where his opponent's force is huge, I must say, for SKillous. He wants to push into this base, but I don't know if he's got the supply. The smaller army you have, the tougher it is to deal with a planetary fortress. We see SKillous, he's going to move in. He's potentially going to just right-click on this base. We'll see if he can get it. If he can get it and get out, I think that would be all that he needs. A Disruptor gets tossed out, prevent Clem from jumping on this army. Looks like the Protoss force will run away. There's even going to be a Psystorm trying to kill these SCVs, but Clem, good reaction, keeping those alive. We're seeing a Void Ray go up for SKillous, I guess just to deal with this single Liberator with the advanced ballistics, which is really tough to clean up if you are SKillous. So he says, fine, I'll make a Void Ray to do it. A really big pain for Clem to be making SKillous have to do that while he's trying to control this crazy army he has. So SKillous has successfully sniped 2 of Clem's bases. He doesn't have any extra command centers right now, which is nice. He's having to rebuild another. So it really does show how SKillous is striking back against Clem. This location isn't a planetary fortress either. This might just goad SKillous into going for it. He is going to, but man, do his Stalkers get it rough there. They eat a Widowmine, they eat Liberator shots. SKillous does still want to take this fight, but he's got to be careful. He's going to have to toss out a Nova to force Clem back. Doesn't get the connection he needs, though, I feel, with this army. Psystorms are going to drop down, but an EMP hits for Clem, takes out some of that, and looks like that the Terran army is going to push back against SKillous. SKillous's army was just rinsed, so he panic warps in 10 Stalkers. He had a bit of a bank, and so he's not dead just yet, as he is making more Colossus. But man, Clem just has the power to keep going no matter what it seems to to keep taking amazing trades against the Protoss player. And if we do see, Clem has been playing efficient. SKillous has lost 6,000 more resources than his opponent. And this is insane. I know it's been this way for a while, but the fact that Terran is trading so efficiently in the late game against Protoss is really, really cool to see, I think, as it has really changed up the matchup. Stalkers are focusing down Liberators. Good micro from SKillous, but all he has right now is Stalkers, a couple of Colossus, and there's enough Vikings to take care of those Colossus. So I think Clem's going to push forward, and SKillous is going to be in big trouble. He brings forward a Void Ray, but there's Vikings. He's got a lot of Zealots to warp in, but I think Clem is going to be going for the killing blow. There's simply too many 3-3 Marauders right now. More Liberators just glide forward, and that's going to seal the deal, as Clem shows us another great PvT or TvP. SKillous showed us a really, really good match, I feel. He played a great game against Clem, but in the end, it does seem that Clem is going to be tough for any Protoss player to take down. So, fun match to cast. SKillous, though, I think was just consistently behind on SCVs a little bit too much throughout most of the game. Then he took those bad fights, and that bad fight at the end really just cost him the game. It is quite scary, though, for Protoss, feeling pressured that you have to try and kill the Terran as opposed to sitting back and like it was more common in the past. Ladies and gentlemen, though, as I said, let's try and hit 100 likes on this video. If you're new to the channel, press that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon, as it will let you know whenever there's going to be a new video uploaded. Join the Discord, follow me on Twitter. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. This has been LaughNgamez.